4000 BCE. The Sumerians or Babylonians invented money and developed trading around the beginning of 4000 BCE, which marked the beginning of the modern era travel. Not only that, they were also the first to invent the cuneiform writing and the wheel, making them the founders of the travel business. Queen Hatshepsut is a great ruler to the Egypt. Her journey is about peace to other places that still we are doing today. And they are one of those travelers to have trading to other countries. That makes us now do it too, but in a modernized version. The first cruises were organized and conducted from Egypt. The first journey for tourism was made by Queen Hatshepsut to the land of Punt in 1480. 2700 BCE. The pharaohs took advantage of good building stones in the Nile Valley to build burial tombs or pyramids. Along with this, they included the Step Pyramid of Djoser, the Sphinx, the three Great Pyramid at Giza, and the Abusir Pyramid Complex. Each monument was a hallowed spot. Visitors spent some moments in prayer, yet some went out of curiosity. Early roads. The wheel led to the development of heavy wagons drawn by team oxen or onagers. These are roads of the past before fading became existent because of the heavily loaded wagons. Mainly three groups traveled before: the military, the government, the caravans, and later on, they have improved the roads largely for military use. The Romans started building roads in 150 BCE. By the time of Emperor Trajan, 98 to 117 CE, the Roman roads comprised a network of some 50,000 miles. The Romans could travel as much as 100 miles a day using relays of horses. Roman tourists went about sightseeing as much as we do today. They used guidebooks, employed guides, and bought souvenirs.
The Silk Road. The Silk Road, commonly known as the first global trade route in history, had a scope and importance far greater than a simple exchange of goods. Silk Road, also called the Silk, linking China with the West, that carried goods and ideas between the two great civilizations of Rome and China. Silk went westwards, and woods, gold and silver went west. China also received the story of Christianity and Buddhism from India via Silk Road. The World Tourism Organization is in a position to revive and give a new significance to a route capable of transforming the way we think about related travel. The tourist movements were temporarily and relatively short-term in character with intention to return to the place of residence after compilations of the travel. But tourism provided different activities which were distinct from the local population. Thus, the Silk Road not only helped in the development of trade but also gave new dimensions to tourism. Marco Polo, who traveled to China from Italy in the 13th century, became the first Western explorer to compose a popular and lasting account. With initiative dating to 1994, the World Tourism Organization was an early advocate of the tourism potential of the Silk Road. The Classical Road. The land of Mediterranean Sea produced a remarkable evolution in travel. In the cradle of Western civilization, travel for trade, commerce, religious purposes, festival, medical treatment, or education developed at an early date. Every fourth year between 776 BC and 395 BC, the Olympic Games held in honor of Gatsby, the supreme god of Greek mythology, attract from people across Greece.
Beginnings. In Asia Minor beginning with the installation of democratic government by Ephesus,
By Alexander the Great, 700,000 tourists would crowd the city in a single season to be entertained by the acrobats, animal acts, junglers, magicians, and prostitutes who filled the streets. Ephesus became an important trading center. July 5, 1841, Thomas Cook Company. Thomas Cook Company is the oldest travel company in the world. As a matter of fact, Thomas Cook from England opened the age of organized tourism. It started in 1841 when Thomas Cook arranged the first trip for 570 Englishmen by railway. Thomas Cook is the father of tourism. His first organized trip was Leicester by Labyrinth in 1841. It is covered by a distance of 22 kilometers of 7 members. He acted as an agent by buying tickets in bulk and selling it to the other upon profit basis. This gave him an idea to package tourists in a profitable manner. Early ships. Phoenician master shipwrights built a network of trading posts around the Mediterranean. The Phoenicians were master shipwrights who created tubby wooden vessels with a single square sail. They are excellent traders. They serve as middlemen for their neighbors, delivering raw materials and finished goods. They were the first to establish a maritime empire. The Greeks followed the Phoenicians in becoming great sea traders. With their improved ship thriving the Mediterranean
History of
trades.
tourism Chinese. Several tourism history decry the Eurocentricity of writing about the history of tourism. Most notable is Trevor Sofield. Trevor Sofield is a chair tourism program of social science, Murdoch University, and a founding member of Asia Pacific Tourism Association. Sofield, who states that Emperor of China had ministered for travel 4,000 years ago, well before Imperial Rome and Herodotus. Imperial Rome described the period of Roman Empire following Julius Caesar's assassination, which ultimately ended Rome's time as a republic. At its height, Rome controlled all the land from Western Europe to Middle East. While Herodotus was an ancient Greek historian who wrote in 5th century BC, he is best known for recounting, very objectively, the Greco-Persian War of the late 5th century. Herodotus is revered for his honesty, as he explains that he is not sure for veracity of the supposed events and scenes that occurs. History of tourism pollination. Small dugout canyons that are not over 40 feet in length were used for voyages. Pollination from the Society Island traveled to Hawaii, a distance of over 200 miles. Navigating was accomplished by observing the position of the sun and star, ocean swell, cloud, and bird flight. Dakota people used dugout canyons to travel up and down river and across lakes. Canyons were used as a means of transportation, fishing, and rice gathering while living off the land. Tribes in what is now Minnesota used both birch bark and dugout canyons.
History of tourism. Europeans. Europe attracts large numbers of tourists because of their world-renowned cities. Europe is also known as the leading tourist destination, and visitors from Europe as well as other continents love to visit. Back in this era, tourism is not what most of today's travel is. Dark Ages. From 476 CE to the beginning of modern era in 1450 CE. In this period of time, a trip is considered dangerous. The collapse of Roman Empire spelled disaster for pleasure, travel, and tourism in Europe. End of Dark Ages, wherein pilgrims are having a trip to shrines such as Canterbury in England, St. James of Compostela, and a few were to the Holy Land. Traveler's Guide or tour guides started in the early 14th century, wherein tour guides gave directions to the pilgrims, the regions they will pass, and the inns they will encounter on their way. Beginning in 1388, England's King Richard II required pilgrims to carry permits, the forerunner of the modern passport. Leisure travel in Europe started during the 1840s when Thomas Cook started offering tours to Paris and then around Europe. The Grand Tour. The Grand Tour was a trip in Europe that typically aristocratic young men and women over the age of 21 could occasionally partake, providing they were accompanied by a chaperone from the family were participating. The tour go often from months to years or traveling and exploring other cultures and places. The Grand Tour was coined by Richard Lascelles in his 1670 book Voyage to Italy to describe this practice, which became extremely popular. The classical education of these 18th century travelers was evident. Every classicist has a touch of the grand tourist in them today. The way we see most classical monuments in Italy was formed by the 18th century travel tradition.
Origin of tourism in the Philippines. Tourism in the Philippines traces its origin during the ancient times when the pursuit of people chose to migrate through land bridges, followed by the other set of migrations from Malayan archipelago. American tourism in the United States grew rapidly in the form of urban tourism during the 19th and early 20th century. By the 1850s, tourism in the United States was well established.